Today we're going to learn the F chord, the F major chord, the 4 chord in the key of C major. Now, for those of you who have maybe already tried to tackle this chord, you likely got a chord picture that looks like this. Third finger on string 4, second finger on string 2, and first finger in a 2/6 bar over strings 1 and 2, looking like this. So the spelling of that chord would be F, A, C, and F. Those are the notes in an F chord. And in this case, in this voicing, we've got a duplicated F. Got a low F, and then an F an octave above. Now, if you've tried to play that chord, you've probably already experienced some degree of frustration. And that degree of frustration lies in this 2/6 bar. That is not an easy technique. To use the top knuckle like that and invert it and then play two strings together is a technique that takes a while to get underneath your fingers. And so what I'm going to suggest today is let's ignore that chord. You can work on it on your own, but we want to be able to play in the key of C major. And we want to be able to do that now, not sometime in the long distant future when you can get this 2/6 bar changing underneath your finger 1. So rather than duplicate that F note at the top voice, we're just going to play a 3-string F chord, which is a complete F chord because it has all the notes of the F chord in it. F, A, and C. F major chord is a 3-note chord using the notes F, A, and C. Now, by eliminating that top note, we don't have to do that difficult maneuver with our 2/6 bar with finger 1. And what we're losing is, just that top string. And so to me, it's a nice trade. So let's just get rid of that top string for now. And you'll also notice that when you put your first finger down, it naturally is going to mute that top string. So you don't even have to worry about striking the top string. Just play directly all the way through, right? Just let the pick pull right through that top string as well, and you won't hear it. So you have a slightly thinner sounding F chord, but it's so much easier to play, and it'll allow you to get right into the key of C. So the first way to practice this chord is you'll notice that the C note is in the chord as it is in the key chord of C, and as it is the one or the starting note or the root note, the tonic note of the key of C. So here's my C. Change from this C chord to the F chord, keeping this first finger in common. There's that shortened version of the F chord, C. Shorter F, C. In this case, I'm stopping my pick at the first string. So I'm just striking as far as the first string and letting my pick rest on that string 1. If I want to play all the way through, I can do that too, with the mute there, right? So either way, it'll sound fine. Now I'm going to give you an alternative for that F chord as well. This F chord will have 2/5 in it. In other words, it'll have 2 C's in it, and I think you'll find it a nice usable voicing of an F chord. And here it is. Think of it as this F chord here, F, A, and C, right? And we're going to add another C in the bottom voice here. So in order to do that, we're going to have to refinger it a little bit. So we're going to do this first and second fingers as they were, then third finger on that C on the bottom, and baby finger on the F, the root of the chord here. So this chord, technically speaking, if we want to get fussy, it would be called an F/C or an F over C, because our lowest voice in this chord is not the root of the chord, which is F, but instead it's one of the notes of the chord, which is a C. And because I'm putting that in the lowest voice, it could and possibly should read F/C. But that doesn't really change the tonality of the chord. And now we have F chord. And notice the fingers that I have in common. I've got 2 fingers in common between the C chord and my new F. So again, first finger on the C, third finger on the C, and here's my E and G of the C chord. And now second finger moves over to string 3, fret 2, and baby finger on the F. Nice, easy change, and my first fingers and third fingers stay the same. It's a great alternative F chord. You don't have any short bars or complicated fingerings, and the next F chord, as we did, is just a three-note version without duplicates, with the common voice of C at the top. Now the F chord is sort of a big deal because, as I said at the top, it's the 4 chord in the key of C. And it's going to be really difficult to play in the key of C major if you don't have some version of an F chord. And there's no reason to struggle with that F chord that's most commonly provided in chord diagrams with that duplicated F on top. These chord diagrams are, in many cases, they've just been hanging around databases for 50 years, and so they're just easy to plug into books. But rather than do that, let's just think of the notes of the chord, which the notes of the chord are F, A, and C. So any combination of F, A, and C are going to be an F major chord. So C to F and C to F, with the common C in the lowest voice.